everyone, Gamar Dioba. Hello and welcome to Tamada's table. As you can see outside of my kitchen window, we had first snow in New York City, and it's perfect day to stay inside and cook Georgian food in my cozy kitchen. Today I'll show you how to make one of the great dishes of Georgian cuisine, Satsivi, chicken in walnut sauce. We are in holiday season and Georgians make Satsivi for the only special celebrations, like for example New Year's Eve, which is big thing in Georgia, and almost every Georgian family will make Satsivi. Tsivi means cold in Georgian language, and Satsivi is the name of the walnut sauce, which commonly is made with chicken or turkey. For vegetarian version I usually use eggplants. Let's start cooking. I boiled my chicken yesterday and I refrigerated it overnight because it makes my job easier to make satsivi, because the fat of the chicken will solidify on the top of the broth, and that's what I need to cook my onions. So first I will take the chicken out of the broth. And then now I will be skimming the fat from the top of the broth, and you can get some broth too, because all we need to do is to cook the onions in this fat. This is enough for now, so I'll put it on the medium heat and I will cook the onion in this chicken fat. First I will chop the onion and I'll cook it in the chicken fat. So what I can do it manually, or I can use my food processor, and I'm opting for that. Let me check on the onion. Yeah, see, it's very nicely chopped. But even if it's not nicely chopped, finely chopped, it's okay, because we will be processing it with the walnut sauce. I heated the chicken fat on medium-low and now it's ready, so I will be reducing the heat to low. And then I will add the onions to this chicken fat with some broth. Because sometimes, you know, you don't have enough fat, so you will be adding more broth. Here we are. So I'll be cooking these onions until they are tender, and I don't want them to change the color, so I will be cooking them on very low heat. My onions are cooking in my small skillet, and you see I am frequently stirring them because I don't want the onions to burn. When I am cooking satsivi, I prefer to cook onions in the chicken fat and some broth. If you see that it's not enough liquid, you can add some broth. But some cooks, they also opt for cooking the onions with the vegetable oil. I prefer to use the chicken fat and broth. So let's see. Now I don't need the chicken broth, but if I need, I will just add a little bit, like a spoon or two, to add more liquid, and continue cooking until the onions are really tender. It's usually about 10 minutes. So my onions are ready, and you see the color, they didn't change the color, but they are tender, and that's how I need onions for satsivi. So they are done. I boiled the chicken yesterday in water with aromatics. That's why I will strain the broth now. Here is my broth. And I will warm it up slightly, because to add to the walnut sauce I will need slightly warm chicken broth. The ingredients for walnut sauce are walnuts, garlic, cilantro, white vinegar, white cornmeal, and Georgian spices. This is marigold, this is coriander seeds, this is blue fenugreek, and this is cayenne. You can use any type of red ground chili pepper and salt. Now let's cut the chicken into portion sizes and put it in the bowl. I usually don't like the skin, but you can keep the skin. And for satsivi, we usually cut the chicken into smaller portions. And I usually get rid of bones as much as I can. Here is my breast. See, I'm removing the skin. And I will cut it into small pieces. You can even tear it with your hands, because that's what some cooks do for satsivi. See, small pieces, I put them in the bowl. So my chicken is ready for the walnut sauce. Now let's start making walnut sauce. I am coarsely cutting cilantro because I will be adding it to the walnut sauce, but this is not the prime ingredient, and many cooks, they don't add cilantro to satsivi walnut sauce, but I think it adds slightly different twist. That's why I'm adding cilantro, but not too much. Let's make walnut sauce, and you know, according to Georgian traditions, walnuts go into food processor, garlic and coarse salt first. I crushed the walnuts and see how they look. But that's not what I want for satsivi. For satsivi, I actually need very smooth and creamy sauce. So what I will be doing now, I will be adding other ingredients and I will continue processing. So I will add cilantro and I will add white cornmeal. And again, let's check on the ingredients. I told you that for satsivi we really need like smooth paste. So let's check. No, it needs more grinding, and to help the grinding process, because I really need like smooth, very fine paste, I will be adding some broth. So I'll put the processor on and just a little bit. That's what we need. See how smooth it is? Perfect. So now it's time to add spices and add more broth. So now let's add spices: marigold, coriander, blue fenugreek, and of course chili pepper, and continue grinding. Now I will add onions to the sauce. I will pulse it a few times to combine. Now with the machine running, I will be adding more and more broth. So our sauce is almost ready. You see how it looks? So now let's cook the sauce. So now I will pour this sauce into the pan and I will add more broth to it. So I will add more broth. The consistency of the sauce should be like thin sour cream. So my sauce is on very low heat and I will be constantly stirring it so it doesn't burn, because it's very tender sauce, and I will bring it to a boil. So I'm stirring my walnut sauce and it's slowly coming to a boil, you see? And that's the time when you want to taste it and add maybe more salt, more chili pepper, and of course some vinegar. So this is the consistency, but it will thicken because we have walnuts and we have corn meal there, so it will thicken overnight. So it's time to add some vinegar and again stir and stir. So the walnut sauce starts boiling and we will cook it for about 5 minutes, constantly stirring. I'm stirring because I don't want the walnut sauce to burn. And I told you that it's very tender sauce. It needs a lot of love and attention, so that's why I'm stirring it. Sauce is almost done, see? The consistency of the sauce? It's beige color. Now it's time to remove it from the heat and pour over the chicken. So now I will whisk the egg yolks with some vinegar. And the final ingredient I am adding are egg yolks whisked with vinegar. And what you need to do, you need to whisk and whisk and whisk while adding these ingredients to the sauce. Now it's the final time. You can taste the sauce and add again the salt, the pepper. Now let's scoop the sauce and pour it over the chicken. You remember I told you that satsivi we eat at room temperature, but we usually, when the sauce is ready, we pour it over the chicken and then we refrigerate it overnight, so you can make satsivi a day ahead, or we can just keep it for a few hours before your guests come, you know, and the chicken will be soaked in this amazing sauce, which is so delicious. And I call it sometimes, you know, as a joke, of course, that my chicken is drowned in satsivi sauce. So I want the sauce to go down. So all my chicken pieces are entirely covered in the sauce, and they stay in the sauce for a few hours, so they become much tastier even next day. So my satsivi is ready, and I will put it aside for a few hours to bring it to room temperature, because that's how we eat satsivi. Or I can cover it and put into refrigerator and refrigerate overnight, and then take out about 2 hours before serving it out of the refrigerator. So today, my friends, we made chicken satsivi, and traditionally Georgians eat it either with hearty bread or with gomi corn porridge, because satsivi originated in western Georgia, and gomi corn porridge is very similar to grits, so it's your choice. If you like the recipe, please share with your family and friends. Come back for my weekly postings. Bon appetit! Gemrielat mirtuit! And happy holidays!